The discounted cash flow valuation method is one that's fairly complex, but it's really based on what kind of business and what kind of profits the firm will earn in the future. It's easy to look backwards in the past and say what's been accomplished and what the profits were 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but it's very difficult to forecast in the future because there's so many external events that can affect the operation of the business. So the first step in doing a discounted cash flow is to thoroughly understand what the future holds for the company. What's its market position? What's its product line? What's the life expectancy of the product line? What's the management team like? What's the likelihood the management team will still be in place over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years? And so we very carefully sit down and do a projection of what revenues and profits can be anticipated over the next 3 or 4 years. Then we would apply a present value factor to that flow of profits for each of those years. And at the end of that time, let's say we do a 3-year projected cash flow, at the end of the 3rd year, we say, well, no, the business is still operating. We'll have to presume it's going to continue to operate. And so we create what we call a terminal value based on the expectations of that business to continue. Those numbers then added up, and we come up with a value for the business. The credibility of a future discounted cash flow valuation is really predicated on the ability to accurately project the future. To be quite candid, projecting the future, particularly in these times of rapid change, is very difficult. One of the things we do to establish the credibility of future projections is to look at the projections made 3 years ago, 2 years ago, last year, and look at the results that were accomplished during the years that we did the projections. So if the projections that were made, say in 2013, were achieved, and again in 14 and again in 15, then we could reasonably presume the projections made for 2016 and 17 and 18 would be correct. Determining discount rates, earning multiples, return on investment projections are all subjective to some degree. Some of the more sophisticated accounting firms have tried to create a model to add some scientific credibility to the return on investment, to the discount rate, or to the earning multiples that are applied. But at the end of the day, it pretty much is subjective.